It's my pleasure to welcome Amber Kirkland AIFD CFD. She's the founder and the lead floral and event stylist at the Velvet Touch Events. Amber has spent more than 30 years serving the Metro Detroit area, seamlessly blending her engineering expertise with her artistic passion for floral design. It's no surprise that she's an engineer background, right? Absolutely not. Her unique vision has shaped countless and unforgettable weddings and events, and as the founder of Floral University, she's committed to nurturing the next generation of florists, and I think that that's an amazing thing. Today, thanks to the generous sponsorship of FloristWare, Amber will take the main stage to present Floral Futurism, monumental installations for museums, runways, and immersive spaces. Please join me in welcoming to the Great Lakes Floral Expo main stage, Miss Amber Kirkland.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. It is such an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Doug, for that amazing introduction. And thank you all so much for being here. It is my absolute honor and pleasure to be presenting on the main stage here at Great Lakes Floral Association and with my wonderful sponsor, FloristWare. So I'm going to get started. I think we've already pretty much introduced me, so you guys know who I am now, so I'm not even going to get into that. You know who I am. So one thing I did want to mention is for Floral University, the reason why that came to life is because I wanted to blend, artistry and mechanics with floristry. As an engineer, I am passionate about that, and then helping others to understand and appreciate mechanics. And interesting and more advanced mechanics is what my love is. So we're going to get right into it, okay? So our main focus today for Floral Futurism is our 4 forces. And so I'm going to be touching on that as we go through the presentation. So the 4 forces that I'm going to be discussing today are parametrics, so repetition and rule-based design; parabolics, so that's straight lines creating curves. I don't know if you guys remember this game. I am a 70s baby, and I love this game. It's not even a game, it's kind of like, art. And I used to play with this for hours. And so this game really shows parabolics and parametrics, taking lines and creating curves. I just thought that was the most interesting thing as a child. We're also going to be discussing magnetics as well as kinetics. So magnetics we already know, invisible forces and modular systems. Kinetics, intentional physical movement, okay? So let's talk about movement before we talk about motion, because we're gonna be talking about both, okay? So the first piece we're going to be discussing today is what I call tension field. So we're going to lift this one together and let you guys see. Okay, thank you. Thank you. This piece I call tension field. This is string art. Now, while it looks like it took a long time, it actually didn't take too long once you determine what your pattern is, okay? So one thing that I wanted to make sure that I did is establish, first of all, my color story. Can anybody, I'm gonna say a newbie, can you tell me what our color story is for really throughout the entire presentation? Anybody? Anybody? Clue starts with an A? Thank you. Okay, so we are looking at an analogous color scheme, and I wanted to make sure that we focused and understood where our focal is. So, I mean, it's probably pretty obvious because I actually designed it so that the arrows are pretty much pointing where you want your focal. So these two pieces, and one thing that I wanted to mention with this piece specifically is when you guys are building for museums or for, you know, other interactive spaces, use what you might have. These two pieces were 2 of 6 that I had on a main table for a wedding. And we had this down the center of the table, flowers on both sides, for this event. And so I saw them in the garage and I'm like, string art. Don't know where I got that from. I think the angles that we created on the acrylic really drove that, but this is a piece that I just brought together with the hinge on the back side and was able to attach the floral in the center. Now, one thing that you're going to hear me repeat throughout the presentation is the designs that we want to create should be modular, right? We want to be able to utilize magnetism and other things so that magnets are not just good for boutonnieres and corsages. Use them widely. Get you some nice neodymium magnets and you can use them for a number of different things. So imagine you install this at a museum and you need to refresh the flowers. If you attach it with magnets, all you have to do is pull these centerpieces out, put new ones in, and you're done. You got a new piece pretty much. You got new flowers and you're refreshed already. So that's one common theme that you're going to see throughout the presentation. We want to reuse and repurpose and making sure that you are making it easier for yourself in these spaces and not having to rebuild the structure that you're bringing in, especially when you have a piece that's going to be at the museum for 6 to 8 weeks or maybe months at a time, okay? So think modular as you start to get into these spaces and places, okay? So this, again, is tension field, okay? Oh, no, it can stay there. Oh, maybe we do. I forgot it's blocking. So yeah, can you?
Just move it over and then move it back.
Okay, thank you. Hold on, let's move this piece first. Over, there we go. Thank you. Okay. All right, so we're going to get into this piece shortly, but what I want to talk about next is called helical bloom, okay? So this is another piece that I created. If you guys haven't been able to tell yet, I love bamboo, then I painted this. And so what I love, again, creating curves with straight lines is if you guys can see, I tatamied each of the bamboo pieces together. But what you can do with pieces like this, and this is like my favorite part, you can create the curves from, see, easy peasy. And again, modular, with modular thinking, right? I have a piece of galvanized washer right there, and these are neodymium magnets. And then this can attach right to that and follow the curve, right? So there you go, okay? So I want you guys to always think modular whenever you can. And I'm going to move this forward just a little bit. It does have the ability to stand on its own, but there we go. We'll let it be for right now. Okay? So that is one of my favorite pieces because I get to do that, right? That is like the best part about it, right? So that's one thing that you're always able to do when it comes to parametrics and parabolics. And and you're learning math, and you don't even realize it for those of you who hate math. But please understand that the distance for this piece, for example, if you want to create this piece, the distance between the way you tatami this together The distance from here to here impacts how wide it opens or how far it spreads, right? So the closer you have it together, the wider it spreads. But as soon as you bring it out here, it shortens your ability to, it shortens the curve, okay? So just know that when you're wanting to play around with something, I suggest you all go play around with this. So get you some little sticks, start small, get some straws or something, and then you can do it with straw. You can do it with anything that is straight, you know, similar to the bamboo. So again, one of my favorite pieces. Okay, next we're going to talk about my piece called Waveform, and that is here. So we're going to pick this piece and turn it, if we could. Yeah. Okay. So again, with this piece, a different way of seeing curves with straight lines. You have straight repetitive lines, but you can see the curves, okay? And we also included and followed that same curved line with our flowers and with our water tubes. And again, thinking modular, these are all on magnets. So again, that same galvanized washer is here, and it just pops on. Now, the fun part about all of this is, I would have sat with this for days as a kid, right? So I can take now my pink, and if I want to move my pink over here, and I want to move my red over here, you can change up your color scheme just by movement, and that is what magnets and the modular design will allow you to do. So that's the fun part about it. We want to make sure that our designs are now interactive. I just feel that it's really unfair that flowers should only be viewed. We see, movement in our designs, but we are not able to truly interact with them. I want to touch them. I want to feel them. I want to move them around. I want to play a game. I want to do all of that, right? And so just so you all know, I want to do this game, like a tic-tac-toe game with the same concept, but with flowers. So you'll see that coming soon. I want to create this tic-tac-toe game. So like, why not? So when you're in a lobby of a hotel, when you're waiting on your bags or you're waiting on your room for 3 hours, when you arrive at noon and you're trying to get in, now you got to wait for 3 hours to get into your room. I want to play with flowers on a tic-tac-toe board for hours, or I want to sit and play with this, and then I'm going to say, okay, well, what if the red was over there, or what if the peach was over here? And these are the things that we're able to do with interactive modular design. So when you go back to your shop, think about some new and different things that you can even do for weddings, or even getting into, because I really am working to get into the hotel space and the museum space, so that we can start to show what flowers are really able to do. And they're more than just beautiful, beautiful things that we watch grow on a daily basis. Okay? Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you for that question. So she asked, what are the water tubes wrapped with? So one of my very favorite mechanics in the world now is carpet tape. It holds everything. So this water tube is wrapped in carpet tape first, and then it's wrapped in the same string that you see here, okay? So it took me a bit. So we wrapped each one in just a couple hours watching Bridgerton, wrapping each one of these with each colors, and then my eyes going cross, and I'm like, did I wrap 4 peaches already, or am I on red now? So, it took a minute, but wrapping this over and over, and then, as we all know, trying to wrap the bottom of a water tube is a pain. But what you can do is you wrap it as best you can, but carpet tape will allow you to pretty much do anything. And if you can't get all of it wrapped, you can hit it with some paint. So there is a paint to go with everything. Rust-Oleum makes a 2X that is like my absolute favorite. Every one of these colors is available in that Rust-Oleum 2X. So I was able to spray paint the bottom and able to match the colors up pretty well. And then you can do this with any color palette. So these are, okay, newbies, are these warm colors or cool colors? Warm, okay. You can do this with cool colors as well. So you can take all of these off and you can make blue, green, you know, blue, green, and purple, for example, and have that as your color story, okay? Any other questions on this piece? Okay. Okay, so our next piece is, okay, sometimes you have to pivot, and I think my last week or last few days has been about the word pivot. So this piece is what I wanted to also show, that your straight lines are actually able to create curves. It was going to take us a little too long to get these installed properly, so unfortunately you can't see all of the pieces that were going to be hung here, but same story as this piece here. You can create a curve with straight lines only. Okay, so that was the goal of this piece. And this piece can be used at, you know, an entrance to a museum, a entrance to a fashion show or a runway show, and it can be utilized. I mean, we can use this for a wedding as well. But again, we are trying to think now beyond just the wedding or beyond just every day, and think about some new and more interesting spaces that our pieces can go into. Okay? Okay, my next favorite piece that really gave me the flux, but we love it anyway. This piece is called Convergence, and this is a labor of love. So I want you all to understand that this is made up of all 6 color strings that you see here as well. So this is the same string that is utilized. And what I've done is created this using a pattern going from the furthest point on one circle to the next furthest point on the other circle. And as you create that pattern, you just go around for each circle. These are all 1 inch away from each other. So let me tell you where this started. This, again, is a piece that I had in the basement that I used for a wedding. And it was, you know, one of the big double circles that sit on a base, right? So these were actually gold, and they had these, you know, connector pieces that I had used for a wedding. So I had this size, and then I had a smaller size. And then I said, you know what, I would love to do some string art with circles. And I said, I went in the basement, I'm like, yes, you're perfect. So then I got out my Dremel and I went to work. So cut up all of the steel, and then was able to carve out every inch a little notch so that the string can go into each one of the notches, and you guys will be able to take a closer look at this when we're done. But the gold has become black because I spray paint everything, and we have now been able to string this completely without the string moving, because now we have notches every inch all the way around the circle. Now at the base, this is just a wood base. This is a clear acrylic that I had in the basement, and I said, you know what, this could be a nice base. And then I put in like river rocks, some small black river rocks are there at the base, and I've carved into the acrylic so that the metal is able to has a notch to rest in, right? And then the rocks are covering that. This is black foam. And so I decided to keep this very simple. I had my mentor in my head with, where's your focal? Where's your focal? Okay, we're gonna keep it simple and put our focal in the middle, right in the center, and let the artwork speak for itself. Because if you overflower, it's, you know, covering up all of the hard work that you have done to put something like this together. And again, I say this is a labor of love. So this piece is going to be able to be viewed from all angles. So I did the same focal on both sides to match, to ensure that, you know, anyone looking at this from any angle can see. So if you look at it from the side, you can see I did my best to ensure that the 3 anthurium on both sides were about the same size, coming in at the same angle, and ensuring that if you can see where the intersection is happening with the reds and the burgundies on this side and the peach and the orange on this side, you'll see it should drive your eye toward the center. And that is the goal of this piece, to keep it simple. Sometimes you just really need to keep it simple and let the piece and the artwork speak for itself. Okay? Any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, a couple things that I just wanted to go over, and I mentioned this before. We want to think about things in modular, with the mindset of modularity, right? So we want more than just movement. We want to think modular. We want to create sustainable structures that we're able to just take pieces off and replace them with other pieces. We want Floral to evolve and be able to be refreshed on a weekly basis. And we want to also keep in mind that modularity creates longevity, and longevity creates opportunity. So I did want to mention that as well. Okay, so our next piece that we're going to be discussing is suspended balance. Okay, so this again is keeping in mind parametrics as well as parabolics, because you will see the curve here, right? Now what this is embroidery circles that came in all different sizes. So I tatamied them together here and of course painted it. And now we want to also think about some simple movement and simple interaction, because think about this in a hotel or in a museum. And of course, this can be created 10 times its scale, right? So this is just for this main stage, but this can also be created on a larger, grander scale where you can be underneath it and you can see the rotation of the piece, okay? So when you are thinking about creating something new and different, and also keeping in mind the mechanics and the magnetics of the piece, again, you can see there is a washer here. Now, our pieces that we had in here, I will mention, did not pretty much survive the ride, but you can use magnetics and then again switch these out and replace whatever flowers that you would like to replace. So this piece actually moves. So this will, well, it's a disco ball, but it will move for you. And think about this in an interactive space where you're standing underneath it, right? And you are able to enjoy a piece that you're standing in the center of, okay? And being able to see the curves and seeing how the different loops interact with each other and create their own curves. So one thing that I will say about the technique of tatami is it gives you the opportunity to create these beautiful curves that you wouldn't be able to do with much else. Well, maybe with the exception of carpet tape. But you can utilize this for many designs that you would want to create, okay? So I'm going to stop this one. Okay, any questions? Yes. Tatami. I had to spell it correctly as well because I was always wanting to spell it Titami. Yes, it's tatami. Thank you. You're welcome. So this is one of our first pieces that is kinetic, and this has movement, okay? So really, kinetics is about movement, okay? So the next piece I want to go over now that we're gonna stay now with kinetics, and we're going to pick up the gears. Well, I've called them gears, and I think we should put them on the center table again, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, this piece I call interlock. Now, I am, again, an engineer. I love gears. I love anything mechanical. And these are actually pieces that came from IKEA. So if you guys know at Christmas time where they have the little folded paper and you open it up and it's a star or it's, you know, some beautiful piece, that's what these are. So these actually fold up and flatten, right? So immediately, well, actually I bought them because I was going to use them for Christmas decorations and then never got around to it. And they are white. They were just white. And I said, these could use a little spray paint. These could use a little spray paint. And so I said, you know, what can we do to these pieces to, you know, to sharpen them up just a little bit? So I decided to stay within, of course, the same color palette using my favorite paint by Rust-Oleum 2X. Each one of these are painted in its own color, and they are now what I call gears, because when you set them right next to each other, they fit into each other perfectly, okay? So I'm going to turn it on. And now, you'll see, and this is what fascinates me. One is rotating clockwise, the other is rotating counterclockwise. And so this for me is magical, and I absolutely love it. One of them was broken on the way in, so my apologies for its wonkiness, if that's a word that I can use. But I want you guys to understand the possibilities of what you can do with anything, right? I mean, this is from IKEA. And they have a bunch of fun things that you could actually, when you go in there, you could change into something else. But I want you to elevate your thinking, think a little differently, think out of the box, think what somebody else is not doing. One thing that I will tell people all the time, I have a love-hate relationship with Pinterest. Pinterest, you know, brides will see this and they're like, I want that, exactly that, right? But what we have to remember is we're artists, we're creatives, and what we should be doing is finding what's not on Pinterest so that we can create our own Pinterest moment. That's what we should be doing as creatives. We're not just florists, we create something out of nothing, quite literally. Thank you. So the next thing I want to present is also one of my favorites. I think everything is my favorite. So if we can turn this around. This is a kinetic spinner. No, I did not make this. No, I did not carve it myself or create it, but I saw it and I thought, this is kinetics 101, okay? So we have a kinetic spinner that is actually, it has a place in the back here, a coil that when you wind it up, it will kinetically spin for you on its own. And so when I thought about it, I said, we have to have this, right? And then flowers go with everything, just like black. So we want to make sure we have flowers on everything. So we wanted, when I saw this, I said, okay, that could be a Monstera moment, right? And then of course there could be flowers in the middle. So let's just do it, right? So this thing is fascinating to me. And when you guys when we're done, you can see the beauty of this piece. But you can wind this up 60 times and it'll spin for you for 7 to 9 hours. But it spins on its own, but I just thought it was an absolutely beautiful piece that represented kinetics very well. So when it gets to a point where it slows down, it will kick in and it'll flip it back the other direction. So you can put this in your home, you can take it to the museum, you can flower this in any way you'd like. Now, one thing that I will say is this also, these pieces here, they have magnets on the back, so this is how they are interacting one with another. So you have to be careful how you flower it. But this could be a piece that you could bring to the museum and share share in that space or share in a hotel space where you are inviting people to come in and interact with your artistry. So that is the key theme throughout all of this is we want interaction. We want to bring the people in. I don't just want to create a bouquet of flowers in our beautiful color palettes and bring joy. I want to bring in the beautiful color palettes. I want to bring joy, and I also want to bring interaction and allow them to be in the space with the movement. And I think that is another important part of what we do that can be added and bring even more joy to someone who may not be having the best day, or in like my nephew, one of my great nephew, he is autistic, and so giving him the opportunity to feel the texture of the string on the water tubes and being able to just interact with that is really, I think, life-changing. And so that is what I wanted to share with you all, especially with this piece. So the last piece that I want to share, I can actually lift by myself. Thanks. So this is my last piece, and this is also kinetics. This is my bird. This is one of my favorites. So one thing that you can do is you don't have to create everything from scratch yourself, right? Find something that has the mechanics that you want them to have, and then you create what you want with that piece, okay? So this is a piece where it's okay for the mechanics to show, okay? So normally we're hiding mechanics, but in this case, we want them to be seen. Okay, so I will say that if you guys look underneath, this is actually a stingray, but I wanted a bird. So I said, how can we make the stingray a bird? And that's what I've done here, and created a piece that moves. This to me is relaxing, and I believe you can turn anything into anything else. And that is my presentation. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I added to it. I flowered it because flowers go with everything. Absolutely. Thank you all so much. Oh, you want me to do it again? Okay, yes, absolutely. They want me to do
Does
this
anybody-
again.
You got something else?
They want me to do this
Oh,
again.
yeah, heck yeah.
Yes, okay. It actually can go on here as well, but. So if you hold it like this and you spin, and they actually will interlock with one another. And it'll eat you up, yes. And then you can leave it in this formation. You can turn it in any direction that you can, and you can experience the beauty of the curve. This looks like a bird to me, okay? So again, this is just one of my absolute favorites, and the versatility of this piece is amazing. And remember, this can be created on a much larger scale as well, okay? Any other questions, comments? Okay. Yes? Mechanical. So I'm a mechanical engineer, my undergrad, and manufacturing engineering for my master's. Yes. Thanks, everyone. Did it until I was satisfied. Hold on. Yes, I said that. Okay, I would dare say probably about maybe 25 or 30, I'm thinking. Yep, because that's about 10. Yep, I would say 30 to 35. I'm looking at it now. Yes. You're welcome.
Wow. Wow. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. Because I'm going to step out here so everybody can see me.
Okay.
Those of you that know me well know that I can get emotional at times. And when you turned that bird on, I immediately saw opportunities for funerals, for sympathy work, because this week was the 24th anniversary of my grandma passing away. And I have officially been without her longer than I had her in my life. And I was talking to someone this week. It is unbelievable the power of the emotion that I still have for this woman that I have now been without longer than I knew. This was an amazing program.
Oh, thank
I am
you.
so very grateful that you came and shared this with all of, oh my gosh, so much inspiration from the start to the end. So many different ideas for different things. When you first pulled the water tube off of this, before you said a game, I immediately thought that would be amazing for kids as an interaction thing to talk about color theory.
Yes. That's what I wanted to use
Yes.
it for. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's. Thank you so much, Amber.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing a little glimpse of inside of your mind with all of us. Because wow. Mark, if you can hear me, thank you so much for sponsoring this
Yes,
program,
thank you,
because
Mark.
we are so incredibly blessed and better for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.